This paper, which is a cartridge, has a texture on it that actually helps with the squirrel's textured coat. The main thing is to get the whole shape covered so that I can start putting in the undulations where the fur and the skin have caused creases. So you can see I'm doing mostly pull down strokes that are grazing and following the contours of the form. I think I might go on my toes a little and do some very fine hair from the tail before I start with any more on the back there. And when you're going around the edge of the tail or anything like that, don't just put a halo of little hairs. They actually come in clumps and go in different directions. So a little bit like that. And some of it's tick and flick, and some of it's contoured pull down. And if I want this to appear lighter, I just cut in behind and let one or two light hairs come over the top. And anything in an area like this would be really rich dark, and then you get some tone coming over. So you can see he's beginning now to build the tone. Again, I might actually get a 2B again to cover the area quicker on the back, but I have to be careful to follow the form, so sometimes you have to get into rather an awkward position. Or you can, if it's an area that you know exactly how it's going to appear, you can turn your paper, but I'm just going to go in a slightly different position to cover in the back there. So all this really is grazing. And I'll get some dark here, and he has a little trousers back here where I can do some pull down strokes. This is like watercolour painting, it's putting the undercoat in and I'm going to be overlaying over the top of it, so really it's just the filling in to get the main areas covered. He's beginning to look more solid now. And the hair here is slowly getting shorter as it goes towards his little hands. And then I'll go back to the B pencil to put those little hands in. And his arm can be quite dark through there. And he's holding this nut. And a little bit of tone on the lower part of the fingers. I've left the top of the hand quite light to catch the light, and you just put a gentle tone over it and down. In here will be a little bit of dark. I've got to do some whiskers later on. I'm going to build up the eye a bit more, following the form round again. And then build up away from the eye with the undulations. And here I'm going to bring down a little bit more tone. And some ruffles around here. Sometimes you get little clumps of hair, So that would be tick and flick to get the feeling of those little clumps. And again, they can follow the form. It's just a case of darkening the lower areas, going on to the tail, feeling how it comes out from behind, so we have quite a bit of tone in there. It's almost like modelling really, it's going round the form and trying to feel the different contours and which way everything's going, leaving a little bit of a light halo. And this back leg here, where we've got a little bit of a shadow and an uneven tone below and a bit of shadow on the edge of that log or whatever he's sitting on. So I just do a zigzag there to anchor him. And now I can anchor him by toning in with a slightly softer pencil, so I can go in behind here and zigzag, bringing forward the light hair that's just at the edge and putting the dark behind. Again, this piece of paper is very handy to stop the smudging because I'm working on a textured paper which is soft, and therefore the soft pencil is very inclined to smudge. And cutting in to get the light from the edge of his tail there, and trying to get a bit of texture on the log. Now I've turned the pencil so that I've got the sharp side, and I'm trying to turn the undulations, the darker undulations, into tidier little shadow shapes, and then reinforcing the dark that he's sitting on his shadow there. So if I just finish him off with the B pencil. Just clarifying some of the edge, not pressing hard all the way around, using on-off pressure. Again, getting the eye even stronger. And some rich dark inside the ear. And round the eye it's usually paler, so I'm just going to tone away from that. And underneath, getting his little cheek out. And building up a bit more tone on his arm. And under here. You can see how the B pencil gives me the thin, firmer lines. that I can just give a bit of interest to the edge of the hair. Quite often they move their tails so quickly and jerk them about that you don't really want to make it look too solid. You want to keep it quite delicate and flimsy. I'll just finish off with a few more little lines underneath here and come up to these little hands. A bit of a shadow on that thumb there. And on your toes for some delicate whiskers. They usually have a couple up the top there. And there's your sketch of a little squirrel ready for taking it on into a more detailed drawing or using it as the basis for a watercolour painting. Showing quite a few of the strokes, tick and flick, and some of the on your toes movements, the grazing and a little bit of the zigzag as well. And the next time I'll be showing you a little watercolour of a scene with a river and some trees, and it's a totally different way of doing it because we'll be using the brush.
Now available on DVD. Try these techniques yourself at home whenever you wish. The extended version of today's workshop is now available to order on DVD from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.